called in the National League. Philadelphia at New York, Carlton against Seaver, Milwaukee at Boston, Slayton opposing Tion. Perry with a 3-1 pitch. Steve, right to fastball, and the count is full, 3-2. Powell at first, Brohammer at second, Crosby at short, Bell in on the grass at third. Gamble in left, Hendrick in center, Spikes in right. Ellis catching, Perry with a payoff pitch. Alomar takes low, ball 4. So the leadoff man, Sandy Alomar, takes a walk, and the season is underway. This will bring on Lou Piniella, the left fielder. Piniella last year with the Yankees hit .305 with 9 homers and 70 RBIs. A right-hand batter. Piniella at 6'2", 198. Number 14 on the back of his gray Yankee uniform. We're having a time call now as something was thrown out on the field. I guess it was a piece of paper blown out on the field. Buddy Bell comes in, picks it up on the infield grass. Stretch by Perry, Alomar at first and nobody out. Pitch to Pinella's a fastball, high and outside, ball 1. My partner took an off-season course in radio engineering and is trying to put it to good use here in the booth. Our dramatic opening of the season foiled by a faulty microphone. Pitch is foul back on the screen, and the count is 1-1.
Not working? It's working.
It is working. The phones are ringing. Okay, now I'm going to switch microphones here, folks. We keep nothing from you on these broadcasts. The count is even at 1-1. On the right-hand batting, Lou Piniella. The kick and the pitch. It's a fastball high, and the count goes to 2-1. Hauser coaching at third, and at first base, Elston Howard. Medich will go for the Yankees today. Alomar at first and nobody out. Gaylord Perry last year at 21-13 with a 2.51 ERA. 9-4 lifetime against the Yankees. Swing and a miss, runner going. Ellis throw. He's out at second base. Alomar thrown out trying to steal as Ellis put the ball right in the bag to Crosby, and there's one away.
Well, they wanted to test John Ellis early, and they found out that he can throw.
2-2 count now on Piniella.
John Ellis had a good spring throwing out run as he nailed Herb Washington several times.
Piniella with a count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's 1 out and nobody on now for the Yanks. And Gaylord Perry, the big right-hander from Williamston, North Carolina, gets ready to work again. Here's the kick and the pitch. Piniella fouls it again back on the screen, and the count evens at 2-2.
And Sam Beach, the ball man, back with us.
Sam's got the red shoes on again this year, but they have outfitted the stadium crew with yellow windbreakers and blue trousers. The ushers are in pith helmets. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Piniella swing and a miss, struck him out. So Piniella strikes out for the second out of the first inning, and on comes Bobby Bonds, the center fielder. Bonds, 6'1", 190, a right-hander. With the Giants last year, 256, 21 homers, 71 RBIs. Bonds traded to the Yankees in exchange for Bobby Mercer. Now, Bonds will be seeing quite a bit of duty in right field this year, but with the injury to Elliott Maddox, Bonds playing in center field today.
Bobby saying before the game that the reports on his shoulder injury out of Florida was a little bit exaggerated.
Pitch and a strike, strike 1.
Said that he had a little pull muscle in his shoulder early in the spring, and then he just was very careful with it, didn't want to overextend himself, but he said he feels good and he's ready to throw now.
Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2, breaking ball. This is the 1,005th game for Bonds in his big league career, and coming in here today, he had struck out a total of 1,016 times.
Bobby Bonds, a very exciting ball player. He's going to add a lot to the American League because he hit the ball out of the ballpark for you, but he's really an outstanding base stealer.
Perry ready with the 0-2 pitch to Bonds. Hops off the glove of Ellis, rolls off to the right, and the count is at 1-2. Bonds wears 25 with the Yankees. On deck is Ron Blomberg in right field today.
Seeing Perry no strangers to one another, huh?
1-2 pitch, fastball low and outside, of the count evens again 2-2. That's right. These gentlemen formerly played on the same ball club, the Giants at San Francisco. Infield pulled around to the third base sided touch, and the outfield the same way. 2-2 pitch to Bonds. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. So in the first inning for Gaylord Perry, he walks Alomar. Ellis throws Alomar out trying to steal, and then Perry calmly strikes out the next two men. And at the end of one half inning of play, the New York Yankees nothing. The Cleveland Indians are coming to bat.
Big things are happening at Bigelow Chevrolet. Big on bringing the best your way. You've got more to show with no more to pay. Get to know Bigelow Chevrolet.
Bigelow is big on wagons with a complete selection of every Chevrolet wagon model. The compact Vega, the middle-sized Malibu, and the full-size Caprice Classic Estate. Or if you and your family need more than a wagon, how about a Chevrolet Sport Van, Suburban, or Blazer? At Bigelow, we've got your wagon, and best of all, it's in stock and ready for delivery today.
Get to know Bigelow, Bigelow Chevrolet.
7800 Broadview Road in Parma.
In the home half of the first inning, Oscar Gamble, Frank Robinson, and George Hendrick will be the first three for the Cleveland Indians. Perry impressively fanning Pennell and Bonds after the opening walk to Alomar, and John Ellis chips in with his first throw to second base for an out. Trying to steal was Alomar on the play. Oscar Gamble, who I understand Herb has visited the barber a couple of times this spring.
He still has a little hair, however. He's not exactly bald-headed. No, but Oscar's done a good job over the spring. I think the fans in Cleveland are going to be pleasantly pleased with what they see in the outfield. Oscar has worked very hard, and he's been a diligent worker. He kids around about it a lot, and he takes a lot of kidding, but he had a good spring in the outfield, not only going after the ball, making some good catches, but he must have thrown 5, 6, or 7 runners out at second and third base. So he's hustled very well, and he's done a good job.
Oscar Gamble with that big white 23 in the back of his red Cleveland Indian uniform. Frank Robinson is on deck off to the right, and the photographers are following him every step of the way.
I hope they allow him to go to the batter's box.
For a guy who won't chew gum when he's batting because it disturbs his concentration, he may have some problems today. Here's Oscar. Last year with the Tribe, 291. 19 homers, 59 RBIs. Gamble second best among the designated hitters in the American League last year. Hal McRae out in Kansas City won the top honors, but Oscar was right behind him. McRae did some outfield duty as well as DH, and Oscar was virtually a DH all the way, had a couple of times in the outfield. Pitch to him, swing, and a foul tip. Back to the screen, and the count is strike one. Looking at the Yankees defensively, Chambliss at first, Alomar at second, Mason at short, Nettles at third. We've got Piniella in left, Bonds in center, Blomberg in right, Munson catching, and the right-hander Doc Medich on the mound. 19 and 15 last year with a 3.60 ERA. Pitch to Gamble is low, and the count is even 1-1. Sun is shining, 36 degrees inside the ballpark. The bleachers are just about jammed. It's good to see a lot of folks out there in the bleacher brigade this year. 1-1 pitch. It's a touch outside and low, and the count goes to 2-1.
And the bleachers still one of the best buys in all sports. For $1, you can sit in the bleachers, and I'd say it's not a bad place to sit, and they're probably the most comfortable of anybody in the ballpark today.
2-1 pitch. Backs Gamble away, and the count is 3-1. Okay, Herb, your first guesstimate of the year. What kind of a crowd?
There's a lot of people here.
There is a pretty good crowd.
We'll have to think about it a while. We'll come up with the answer.
Here comes the 3-1 pitch to Oscar. Swing and a foul by the third base coach. Wraps off the tarpaulin and rolls on down to the ball boy. We got Garcia coaching at third and Tommy McCraw at first. And the count has worked full to the left-hand batting Oscar Gamble. And here comes the payoff pitch. It's a pop-up foul, third base side. Nettles floating over toward the tarpaulin, reaches up, makes the catch sitting on the tarp, and there's one away. Gamble fouling to the third baseman. One down, and Frank Robinson, the designated hitter, and manager comes to bat. Robinson combined stats with California and Cleveland last year, a .245 batting average with 22 homers and 68 runs batted in. He used himself sparingly this spring, going 3 for 9 with 4 runs batted in. Pitch, a strike on the inside corner, strike one, and Frank Robinson looks back quickly to Nestor Shylock. It will not be the last such look of the 1975 season.
I would say not.
Medich delivers. Robbie takes fastball, strike two. Milwaukee has failed at Boston, and that American League opener is underway. Last night, it was Nolan Ryan with 12 strikeouts over Kansas City, 3-2 at California. Bouncing foul over to the third base dugout. And the count is 0-2.
Couple of no-hit pitches going in that game. Busby and Ryan. Nolan Ryan picking up where he left off.
Wind up in the 0-2 pitch. Robbie drills it back into the upper deck, and the count is strike two. In New York today, it's Shea, where the Yankees will open Friday against the Tigers. Carlton for the Phillies, and Seaver for the Mets. Everything else is under the lights tonight. Several teams not scheduled today. Several postponed. Pitch to Robinson, a fastball though, and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I forgot to mention my partner is decked out in his usual attire, baseball glove on the left hand, fountain pen in the right hand.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Robinson. It's a pop-up foul coming back off to the left of the screen. That'll drift to the seats. Out of the upper deck downstairs, and the count remains at 1-2.
Somebody gets their first souvenir of Frank Robinson, the manager, and Frank Robinson, the hitter. Incidentally, talking about mistakes in first, Mr. Tate has made his first boo-boo of the year, forgotten the binoculars.
That is true. Fastball inside to Robinson. The count is 2-2. Well, you don't need them with the Cavaliers, and it's, you know, it's tough to adjust in 24 hours. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. First inning of the stadium. No score. Pitch to Robinson. Line drive to left field. Well back. It is gone. Frank Robinson just hit a home run in his first at-bat as the playing manager of the Indians. How about that?
Well, I'd have to say that is quite a way to break it as a manager.
Well, that goes down in the baseball storybooks right now.
It sure does.
First run, first hit, and here's George Hendrick. Fastball low, ball 1.
And one of the first players out of the dugout to greet him, met him at home plate, was Gaylord Perry.
Drive on top, 1-zip. Pitch to George. Fastball low and outside, ball 2. George, the center fielder, a right-hand batter, 6'3", 195, with the Indians last year, a .279 batter, 19 homers and 67 runs batted in. Medich, obviously shaken a bit by this sudden turn of events. Strike to the outside corner above the knees, of the count is 2-1. Well, Herb, you've seen a lot of baseball, but I would imagine that has to give you a little thrill right there.
I would say that is rising to the occasion.
Kick in the pitch. There's a bouncing foul at home plate. Somebody just lobbed a cherry bomb out into the right field area. That we can do without. So Frank Robinson moves into a first-place tie in the American League Home Run Derby with John Mayberry, who got one last night in California. 2-2 pitch to Hendrick. Bouncing ball foul on the third base side, right to the third base coach, Dave Garcia.
And Frank Robinson now, as a player, has just hit his 575th home run. He is 4th on the all-time list.
Medich, right-hander, rocks with the 2-2 offering. George pops a fly ball to right. Bloomberg waiting, taps the glove, reaches up, makes the catch, and we have 2 outs at Cleveland in the first inning. And on comes Big Charlie Spikes. Spikes, the right fielder. Charlie, at 6'3", 210, last year with the Indians, 271 hitter, 22 homers and 80 RBIs. Boston gets a run at Fenway, and it's 1-0. Boston after 1 over the Brewers. Tiant opposing Slayton. Wind up on the pitch to Charlie. Fastball strike on the outside corner. Strike 1. On deck, the big guy, John Boog Powell. 2 outs, strike 1 count to Charlie Spikes. Spikes in the springtime down in Tucson had 1 home run, 10 RBIs, and hit .289. Pitch to him is a fastball low and outside, and the count goes even, 1-1. Some kind of baseball thrill provided by Frank Robinson a moment ago. Bouncing ball, Nettles to his left, gobbles it up, flips over to first, and the inning is over. So in the first inning for the Tribe, 1 run, 1 hit, a home run by Frank Robinson, nobody left, and at the end of 1 inning of play, the Indians won and the Yankees nothing.
What a ball game this is going to be. $10 a copy for the ticket, but it's going to be worth every cent.
A lot of little things in life get canceled.
Yeah, lousy ball game rained out. All right, Martha, I'm going to watch a movie on television, and I don't want to be disturbed. I've been waiting all week to see this flick.
But there's one big thing in life that won't be canceled. That's your Blue Cross and Blue Shield health care coverage. No matter how much you use it, we won't cancel or downgrade your coverage.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled program for a special broadcast.
Hey, you can't do that. Nobody interrupts John Wayne.
Your Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans. A nice security to have in a world with very little.
Your Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans in Northeast Ohio.
Ron Bloomberg, Greg Nettles, and Ed Herman will be the first 3 to face Gaylord Perry in the second inning. Indians leading 1-0 on the dramatic home run by Frank Robinson.
Sammy Beach, the ball boy, ran down to the left field fence and obtained the ball that Frank hit from the policeman there and just returned it to Frank in the dugout. I'm sure that will go in Frank's trophy case.
Now Frank Robinson, the manager, pacing on the bottom step of the first base dugout. And stepping in is Ron Bloomberg with the Yankees, .311 hitter, 10 homers and 48 RBIs last year. Bloomberg from down in Atlanta, Georgia, 6'1", 205. Perry rocks and throws. There's a hot shot on the ground by Powell into right field, a base hit.
And Bloomberg is starting out where he left off against the Indians. He was death to the Indians last year.
Bloomberg gets the first Yankee hit of the year. And here's Greg Nettles, third baseman. Greg Nettles, 6 feet even, 187, used to be with the Tribe, hence the ovation, mixed as it is from the Tribe fans. 246 for the Yanks last year, 22 homers and 75 runs batted in. Nettles a left-hand batter. He was the man who took the mighty swing of the stick in New York last year against the Tigers, and the end of the bat popped off, revealing some cork. And that has been made more of a no-no this year. Inside corner, strike 1, just above the knees. Left-hand batting Greg Nettles wears number 9 with the Yanks, just as he did with the Tribe. And on deck, the curly-headed one is Ed Herman, used to be with the White Sox till a couple of weeks ago. Stretch and the 0-1 pitch. There's a drive out into right field. Charlie Spikes coming on, has to play it on the bounce. Bloomberg holding between first and second, now steams into second base. And there are 2 hits in a row to lead off the second inning for the Yankees. Nettles also got off to a vicious start against the Tribe last year. Had something like 8 or 9 home runs against Cleveland in the first month of the season. Now Ed Herman with the White Sox last year, 259, 10 homers, 39 RBIs. He was traded to the Yankees for 4 minor leaguers. We happened to be in Chicago the day that the trade was consummated, and it was obvious from his comments on TV and in the papers that he was very, very happy to go. Now the stretch by Perry. The lookout at second base to Bloomberg, and the pitch to Herman is drilled in the air to left field. Oscar Gamble pulls the sunglasses down, goes back, reaches up, makes the catch. Tagged by Bloomberg, going to third, throw it out to second base. Nettles in sliding safely. Fly ball to deep left, and the runners tag and advance after the catch. 1 away. Bloomberg now at third, and Nettles at second base. And on comes another former Cleveland Indian, Chris Chambliss. Chambliss hit .328 at the opening of the 1974 season with the Tribe. Had driven in 7 runs. Then the big trade sent him to the Yanks, where he had .243 for a mark with 6 homers and 43 runs batted in. Left-hand batter. Opening day here a couple of years ago. Mr. Chambliss whacked a 2-run homer to give Gaylord Perry a 2-1 win over the Tigers. The Yankees have now out-hit Cleveland 2-1. But the Indians lead 1-0 on the home run of Frank Robinson. On deck is Thurman Munson. Stretch by Perry, and the pitch. Chambliss, it's a drive into right center field. Racing back is Charlie Spikes. It's in the gap and going to the fence. It'll score 2. Chambliss into second base, standing with a double. Chambliss doubles into right center field to the base of the fence on 1 hop. And the Indians find themselves suddenly on the short end of the scoreboard, 2-1. And this brings up Thurman Munson. Munson, .261 hitter with the Yanks last year, 13 homers, 60 RBIs. Munson, of course, no stranger to this part of the world, makes his off-season home in Canton, Ohio. 5'11", 192, went to Kent State. Wind up, and the pitch to him is a fastball outside, ball 1. 2 runs on 3 hits for New York, 1 run, 1 hit for the Indians, and we've got action in the bullpen. Jim Kern is warming up. Right-hander. Fastball low to Munson, and the count goes to 2-0. Chambliss at second, 1 out. Second inning, Yanks on top, 2-0. 2-1. On deck is Jim Mason. Perry stretches, looks out to second base. The pitch. Thurman drops one over the third baseman's head down the line. Rounding at third is Chambliss. Gamble picks up the ball, flips it into Crosby, and the Yankees lead 3-1 on the 4th hit of the inning for New York. That was a single over the head of Bell, who made a leap, but no chance. Dropped down the left field line. Oscar came quickly to pick it up, but the damage was done, and the Tribe trails 3-1.
John Ellis quickly out to the mound to have a few words with Gaylord Perry.
Here's the number 9 man on the Yankee order, Jim Mason. Mason used to be with the Texas Rangers, .250 hitter last year with the Yankees with 5 homers and 37 RBIs. Mason, a left-hand hitter at 6'2", 190. 3 runs and 4 hits now for the Yankees, 1-on-1 for the Tribe. Stretch and the throw to first base. Munson hops back on the bag. Gaylord checks again the runner at first base. Stretch and pitch. There's a bouncing ball to the mound. Perry guns it out to Crosby for one. There's no chance for a relay as Crosby, as he was ready to throw it, to leap up in the air to avoid Munson. There's 2 down now with a runner at first.
Gaylord did not make a good throw to second base. His throw was high and on the third base side of second, and it looked like Crosby had to break his stride to get to the ball, and then by the time he got set again, he was being bowled down on by Munson. He had to get up out of the way. Couldn't make a throw.
Philadelphia and the Mets 0-0 after 1. Carlton versus Seaver. Left-hand batting Sandy Alomar walked to start the ball game for the Yankees and was later thrown out trying to steal second base. The pitch to him, a swing and a miss. Strike one. Bit of a tip now signaled by home plate umpire Nestor Shylock into the glove of John Ellis. Either way you slice it, it's strike one. Two outs in the second inning, and the Yankees lead 3-1. Pitch, check swing, strike two. Well, Herb, I know you join with me in wishing the Cleveland Crusaders the very best of success as they head to Houston this afternoon. They're about ready to climb on an airplane out at Hopkins and fly down to Houston to begin their battle Thursday night with the Houston Aeros in the WHA playoffs.
That is right.
Pitch, strike three as Alomar watched it go by at the knees. Third strikeout for Gaylord Perry. The first two were swinging. This was called. But in the second inning for New York, they come up with 3 runs on 4 base hits, and they leave a man at the end of an inning and a half. The New York Yankees 3, the Cleveland Indians 1.
Located right around the corner and open every night till midnight, that's Convenient Food Marts. Location and hours are sure important, but all Convenient Food Marts have that super ingredient. The owner-operator is right there. That smiling person at Convenient is probably the owner-operator or maybe a member of his family, and they know they have to take care of your business for you to come back. So they do. The shelves are stocked, the service is quick, normally under 7 minutes, and of course Convenient Food Marts are located right around the corner and open till midnight every night of the year.
There's only one place in our town. Forest City is the one place to shop.
Check this week's Forest City Stanley Tool specials. You'll save $1 on a Stanley curved claw hammer, now only $4.59. You'll also save another $1 on a Stanley 6-foot folding rule, just $2.49 at Forest City, where you'll get more than you came in for.
There's only one place in our town. Forest City, Forest City.
Home half of the second inning, Boog Powell, John Ellis, and Buddy Bell. 5, 6, and 7 in the Indians' order will face Doc Medich, who has been spotted a 3-1 lead. Herb, this is just the first of an exciting few days of baseball for us, because I know Friday when we're up in Milwaukee and Henry Aaron debuts with the Brewers, it's going to be SRO up there.
Well, as about 10 days ago when the Indians played Milwaukee in Tucson, they were telling us that they had sold over 38,000 tickets already. That game will be 1:30 on Friday, which is, what, 2:30 Cleveland time?
Right. Well, there's the big guy, the fire truck, as he was tabbed by Greg Nettles. Left-hand batting, John Boog Powell. With Baltimore last year, 12 homers, 45 RBIs, and a batting average of .265. Takes the curveball low, ball one. Wind up and Medich pitch. There's a line drive, but foul down the right field side into the bullpen area on the ground, and the count is 1-1. Powell is 6'4", and it says here weighs about 250, which may be a bit modest. I think he tipped in at 264 when he got to spring training, but he looks very, very good.
And he had a good spring.
Here comes the windup and the 1-1 pitch to Powell. There's a hot shot on the ground into right field, a base hit. So Powell debuts as a Cleveland Indian with a single to right, and the Indians have their second hit of the ball game. And on comes John Ellis. Johnny Ellis, .285 hitter last year with 10 homers, 64 RBIs, and in the Duncan deal that brought Powell and Hood to Cleveland, Ellis was given the #1 catching duties, and he has responded very, very well. And probably even more encouraging, Herb, is the fact that Alan Ashby has certainly given every indication of being a very capable backup.
No question about it. He's a good receiver, and he improved a lot in his hitting. He seems stronger this year.
The right-hand batter, John Ellis. Powell leads at first. The pitch hit on the ground. Nettles can't stop it. It's under his glove into left field. Powell stops at second base, and the Indians have 2 on. With nobody out, it's a base hit for John Ellis. Just nipped the glove of Nettles, breaking to his left.
Nettles going to his left, and the ball flattened out on him. He had the glove about knee high, and the last bounce just flattened on him. He couldn't get to it.
Now the Indians' third hit now, and Thurman Munson will trot out and have a chat with Doc Medich. Here's Buddy Bell. Buddy Bell, 262 last year, 7 homers, 46 RBIs, and of course, hobbled by the bad knee. And Herb, you've had a long look at him now in the springtime. Is Buddy Bell all the way back?
Yes, he is. I don't think he has quite the speed he had, but I think that'll improve. But his mobility at third base is very good again. You could see him just gradually get better, and then he had a big spurt where all of a sudden he had the confidence in the knee.
Bell looked as though he might like to bunt the ball, started to turn, then held back, and the pitch caught the corner, a fastball up around the letters, strike 1. Powell at second, Ellis at first. Nobody out. The Yankees lead 3-1. We're in the home half of the second inning. Stretched by Medich, the lookout at second, and the pitch to Bell. Buddy hits a bouncing ball toward short. Mason charges, flips to second for 1, and no chance to get anybody else. The middleman, Ellis, is wiped out. 6-4 if you score it. That sends Powell over to first, puts Bell at first with a fielder's choice, and it sends up Jack Brohammer, the second baseman. Boston hops on top of Milwaukee 2-0 after 2 at Fenway. Left-hand batting Jack Brohammer, 270, 2 homers, 30 RBIs last year. He too sidelined by injury a good deal of last year, especially coming off a fantastic start. Pitch to him is low and inside, ball 1. Left-hand batter. Brohammer at 5'9" and 165. It has been said before and will be said many times again. This little guy may lack in God-given talent in some areas, but he will beat you to death with your sheer hustle and desire.
He sure does.
Powell at third base. Bell at first. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Brohammer pops a fly ball into center. Going back is Bobby Bonds. He's got it. Tagging at third is Powell. He comes to score. And the Indians now trail 3-2 on the sacrifice fly to center field by Jack Brohammer, who picks up a run batted in. 2 down with Bell at first, and the number 9 man in the order at Crosby. Crosby playing in a starter's role today, in as much as Frank Duffy, whom you probably heard on the pregame dugout interview, is still sidelined by the bad ribs. But Crosby came up with a number of key hits in the springtime, Herb.
Yes, he did. He impressed Frank with his ability to pull the ball.
There's a foul ball, and it ricochets off the front of the booth.
Almost.
To my partner's left, who almost put it away. Strike 1. Crosby hit 209 in spot duty with the Tribe last year, drove in 6 runs. He started the year in the Cardinal organization at Tulsa. Also served some time at Oklahoma City in the Indians chain. Stretch by Medich. Bell leads at first. Pitch to Crosby outside with a breaking ball that fluttered away, and the count is 1-1. This is the second inning at Cleveland. The Yankees lead 3-2. Stretch and the 1-1 pitch. Crosby hits a ball on the ground. Mason to his right. Gobbles it up. Flips over to second to Alomar, getting Bell sliding in. And that fielder's choice retires the side. But the Indians pick up a run on 2 base hits and 1 runner left on base. at the end of 2 complete innings of play at Cleveland. The Yankees 3 and the Indians 2.
Many American beers trace their roots back to Germany. More specifically, to a family that came from Germany in the 19th century and started their own brewery. Now at first, they were very much a family affair. There was someone in the brewery every day, seeing to it that the quality remained high. And that's how those traditions of care in brewing came to be. But today you'll find most breweries are no longer owned by these original families. And the family tradition of care is fast disappearing. Well, let us tell you about one family that still works in their brewery every day. It's the Stroh family, and they take as much care in brewing Stroh's beer for the beer lovers of this generation as they did 200 years ago. Stroh's beer, there's still a family tradition behind it. The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan. Family brewers for 200 years.
In the top of the 3rd inning for the New York Yankees, Lou Piniella, Bobby Bonds, and Ron Blomberg will be the first 3 to face Gaylord Perry, who over the first 2 innings has been touched for 3 runs, 4 hits. He struck out 3, and he has walked 1. Piniella struck out swinging. He was at bat when Alomar tried to steal second base. Johnny Ellis threw him out, and then Piniella followed by Fanning. Here's the windup of the pitch to him. Foul tip off the catcher, Johnny Ellis, and back toward the screen, strike 1. Sunshine and 36 degrees inside the confines of Municipal Stadium here in Cleveland today. Perry gets the sign from John Ellis. And here's the windup and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball low, and the count is 1-1. Thank you, partner. The hot coffee is just the ticket today. 1-1 pitch. High and tight to the right-hand batting Piniella, and the count goes to 2-1. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Yankees. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Indians, and thus far it has been an errorless ball game. Still waiting for the prediction of the crowd by Herb Score.
Well, I was out counting. I was trying to get the coffee.
2-1 pitch. Piniella hits one hard on the ground. Bill knocks it down on one knee, picks it up and throws. He's out. Piniella grounds to Buddy Bell, who went to his left, down on one knee, picked off the ball on the second hop, gunned it across to Powell, and there's 1 away in the 3rd at Cleveland.
Well, that should answer the questions about Buddy's knee. Joey had to go quickly, and he had to go down to the knee to get that ball.
Bobby Bonds struck out swinging to end the 1st inning. 1 of 3 strikeout victims for Gaylord Perry. Indians' next home game will be against Milwaukee on the 18th.
And that's a 4 o'clock starting time. It's a week from Friday, 4 o'clock.
Ball 1. Yanks with 3 in the 2nd. The Tribe picked up singletons in innings 1 and 2. Lined up in Perry's pitch. Bonds takes it low and outside, and the count is 2-0. Milwaukee gets a run in the 3rd at Boston. Somebody for Milwaukee hit a home run. We'll have to check back downtown to see who it was. Here's the 2-0 pitch, the bouncing ball again to 3rd. Bell clubs it nicely, throws over to 1st, and there are 2 outs. Well, that was the routine grounder right back at Buddy. Just reached down, gobbled it up, made the easy play to 1st, and with 2 down, here's Ron Blomberg, the guy that started the 3-run rally for the Yankees in the 2nd inning with a single into right field. In the 2nd, Blomberg singled, Nettles singled, Herman fly deep to left, runners moving up after the catch, and then Chambliss doubled in the gap in right center, sending home 2. Munson then followed with a single to drive home Chambliss. 3-2, Yankees, 3rd inning at Cleveland. Pitch is a bouncing ball to second base. Brohammer has it, throws on over to 1st, and the inning is over. So in the 3rd inning, the Yankees go quietly on 3 ground balls. Nothing across, and the end of 2 1/2 innings of play. The score at the stadium in Cleveland. The Yankees 3, the Indians 2.
The Indians will return to Cleveland Stadium. Go see Earl, the Earl of Brook Park. If you want a good deal on an Oldsmobile, he knows your money doesn't grow on a tree. So when you buy a car, he's the man to see. Go see Earl, the Earl of Brook Park, for a deal on an Oldsmobile that's out of this world.
If your Tribe needs a new set of wheels to get around the bases, see the team at Earl Oldsmobile. From the luxurious Toronado in '98 to the ever-popular Cutlass and Cutlass Supreme, Earl Olds has the bench support to score big with you. It includes an ultra-modern 30-bay service facility manned by GM-trained technicians, the latest test equipment, a wrinkle-free body shop, value-rated used cars, and the tradingest salesman in the league. See Earl Oldsmobile soon, 11300 Brook Park Road.
Well, Herb, I see that West Geauga wants Walt back, but they also, on their big banner out there in right field, extend a happy hello to you and me for the 1975 season.
I wish you'd brought the binoculars, then I could see that sign.
Friday, I'll bring the binoculars.
All right.
Oscar Gamble in the third inning.
One of these days, I'm going to have to buy myself a pair, I guess.
Gamble fouled out to the third baseman, Greg Nettles, back in the first inning, leading off, and that set the stage for a dramatic home run by Frank Robinson and his first at bat as player manager for the Tribe. Wind up on the pitch. Oscar takes it down the pipe for his strike one.
Frank's on deck, and when he gets to home plate, there ought to be some roar from this crowd.
That was a tremendous ovation he received when he was announced at the pregame presentations by Mudcat Grant. Strike one pitch to Oscar. Left-hand batter has to pull back from a high pitch, and the count is 1-1. See the Case Western Reserve Dental class of 1978. Taking an afternoon off here at the ballpark this afternoon. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Oscar takes it low. It bounces into Munson. Back out in front of the plate. Count is 2-1. Yankees 3, Indians 2. Third inning at the stadium. A sunlit afternoon for the start of the 1975 season, and a very, very fine crowd in attendance. Wind up in the pitch. There's a foul fly back to the upper deck on the left, and the count is 2-2. Now we would like to welcome all of the many stations who have joined us on the Indians Baseball Network for the 1975 season. At times during the course of the year, we'll tell you who they are and where they are, and we're certainly happy to have you all with us. And I got a hunch we're in for an exciting summer. 2-2 the count. Gamble leading off in the third inning. Here's the pitch by Medich. Outside. Ball 3-2. Yankees with Chambliss back deep at first. Alomar at second. Mason at short. Nettles at third. Wind-up payoff pitch to Oscar. Gamble hits it on the ground to the shortstop, Mason. One step to his right, has it, throws it, got him by a step and a half. Gamble is out at first base, one down in the third inning, and on comes Frank Robinson. Robinson stepped in the first inning as the designated hitter for the Tribe and responded with a line drive home run over the left field fence, and the place went crazy. One down now in the third. Medich delivers. Robinson hits one hard to third baseman Nettles, bobbles it, grabs it, throws it, got him. Ball was hit very, very hard back on one hop to Nettles. Nettles had it in his glove. It popped off the leather, but he picked it off in the air and made the play on over to Chambliss. And with two down now, George Hendrick steps in. Hendrick with a fly ball to right field back of the first inning. George, the co-captain along with Frank Duffy of the Cleveland Indians this year. Three runs on 4 hits for New York. Swing and a miss. Strike one, George Hendrick. The shade now has extended right to the home plate area. Strike one pitch to Hendrick. There's a high pop fly ball back at his short right field. Coming on is Bloomberg. Going out is Alomar. Bloomberg calls Alomar off the ball, makes the basket grab, and the inning is over. So at the end of 3 full innings of plays, the Tribe goes 1, 2, 3 in the third. The score, New York 3 and Cleveland 2.
This is Larry Robinson, and it's really great to be here. While I usually talk about a different kind of diamond, I know that you'll be down at the stadium yourself to support the Indians. As you know, it's an outstanding team with high spirit, and when you support the